Okay, any questions with number 9? So basically, write the negation of an inequality. So what would that be? Greater than or equal to, right? 47. Okay, so you switch the inequality sign. If it's got an equal to sign, you take it off. If it doesn't, you put one on. Okay, give the symbol that represents the portion of the line named and draw the figure. Ray RP. Well, let's do that one because people have been having some trouble with that. Here you've got this line, right? You've got these points, P, Q, R, and S. P, Q, R, and S. And we want ray RP. Okay, so our ray, right, is going this way. And we want, let's see, the question is asking, give the symbol that represents. So basically, what you do here is, even though it's going to the left, you still write this as, if it starts off with an R, then the endpoint is R. And so it's still RP with a ray symbol. Even though the ray is moving to the left, you'll still write it with the arrow going to the right, no matter which way the ray is moving. Okay, because the ray could be moving up or it could be moving down. So we always started off with the endpoint being the first letter. Okay? All right, any questions with that? Okay, problem 11. Any questions there? Find the measure of the angles. What do we do with these two angles? Add, subtract. What do we do? Well, let's look at this. These two angles are what kind of angles in relation to each other? You have A and B, right? Angles A and B. Angle A equals to 10M. Angle B equals to 8M. Okay. These two angles, what kind of angles are they? They add up to what? You took angle A and angle B, what would they add up to? 180, right? So angle A plus angle B equals to 180, right? So what are you going to do with 10M and 8M? You going to put them in place? Yeah, you do, right? 10M plus 8M equals to 180, right? And then what? Can we go ahead and get off the cell phones, please? Appreciate it. Yeah, you add them up, right? 18M equals to 180. And then what? Yeah, we divide by 18, right? Well, 18 divided by 180 is going to give you what? 10, right? But that's not our answer, right? What do we have to do now? We got to take that 10, right, and put it where? back in here, right? So this is 10 times 10. So we put 10 in where n was, and we get 118, or 8 rather, times 10. And what does that give us? Yeah, 80. So together, the two of those should add up to what? Yeah, 180. It does, so it checks. So our answer here, our answers, are 100 degrees and 80 degrees. Okay? Questions with that? All righty. All right. Number 12. Any questions with that? What kind of angles are those? They're like scissors, right? If you close them on one end, the other end closes too. If you open it up on one end, the other end opens. So you can say that these two angles, the opposite angles, right? If this closes like this, then the opposite angles are congruent, right? These two angles are congruent. So what do we do with these two angles? If we have A and B, and angle A is 10x plus 59, and angle B is 5x plus 109, okay? And since these two angles are congruent, right, or equal, what do we do with these two equations? Yeah, we set them equal to each other, right? Angle A equals to angle B. So that would be 10x plus 59 equals to 5x plus 109. Okay, now what do we do? Yeah, you can either combine the x's or combine the constants first, right? I like to combine the variables first, and I like to try to keep them positive, so I would apply minus 5x. That way you don't have to mess with a negative at the end. So that gives us 5x plus 59 equals to 109. And then what do we do? We've got to solve for x, right? So what do we do with this 59? Okay, minus 59, minus 59. 9 minus 9 is 0. 10 minus 5 is 5. So we get 5x equal to 50. And then what? Okay, divide by what? 5, right. We get x equals to, what's 5 divided by 50? 10, right? Okay, now what do we do? That's x. Yeah, plug them back in, right? So this will be 10 times 10 plus 59. 10 times 10 is 100, plus 59 is 159. So if this side's 159, this side has to be, what? 159 also, right? Because these angles are equal, or the same measure, right, or congruent, also known as congruent. So we put 10, right, this 10 into this x, so that's 5 times 10 is 50, right? 50 plus 109 is 159. So our answer is 159 degrees. Okay? Questions? Okay. Problem 13. Any questions with that? If there's no questions, we're going to move on. If M and N are parallel, and angle M equals 6, angle 6, measurement of angle 6 is 125 degrees, what are the measures of the other angles? Questions there? All right, how about problem 14? Any questions with similar triangles? No? All righty. Let me know. Speak up. Find the requested angle, the complement of 70. So what's complement mean?
90 degrees.
Right, two angles that add up to 90. So if one is 70, how do we find the complement?
It's 20.
Yeah, it's 20. You subtract it from 90, right? Okay. Problems with 16? Any questions with 16? Supplement. What's supplement mean?
180.
They add up to 180, right?
Yeah.
So you just subtract 1 from 180. Okay. Number 17, find the volume. What's volume for a
Is it length times height?
That's right.
To their cost?
Yeah, you just multiply the length times width times height, right? Okay. Anybody want to see that worked out? Are we good? Okay. Factorials. 5 factorial. Anybody need to see how that's worked out on the calculator? Now, there's an app that you can get. You can get a TI-84 app on your cell phone, and it's free. So you can go to your app store, type in TI-84, download it, and you can use that. All right, and it's easier than trying to use a scientific calculator. So, anybody need to see 19? One thing about 19, let's look at that one real quick. You got 7 factorial over 5 factorial times 2 factorial. All right, you got to be careful with this one, okay? Because you've got to put parentheses. If you're going to do this all in one step, you got to put parentheses around that denominator. Because if you don't, your calculator will read this as 7 factorial divided by 5 factorial times 2 factorial. If you don't put the parentheses around it, that's what your calculator sees. So you have to put parentheses around the denominator so that the whole denominator divides into the 7 factorial. And I'll show you what I mean. We take 7 and then math, PRB 4, divided by parentheses, 5 factorial, 2 factorial. And it's just 2, it's just 2 times 1. So whether you put 2 or 2 times 2 factorial, it's not going to make a difference. Okay, you get 21, right? Let's go hit second and enter, and if we were to delete the parentheses, you get a different answer. So you have to be careful with the parentheses, all right? When you get two terms like this that are dividing into one, you have to use parentheses if you're going to do it all in one step on the calculator, okay? All right. Any questions with 20? All right. Well, that's the midterm review. Since we've done all of chapter 10, we can go ahead, oops, test and review. Since we've done all of chapter 10, we can go ahead and review for that too. And one thing I wanted to point out back here, test is that the midterm of the first half of our review up, and I'll put this one up. I'm recording this one now too, so I'll put this one up. And so you can look at this review all over again if you need to. All right. Okay. So I put in a second sheet over there for the test 3 review. So we'll go ahead and do that. And I need to enlarge this. Okay. So this is the review for test 3. Now this is due on Sunday. Given a group of students, Ellen, Brenda, Chad, and Dorothy. All right. I don't know, I just think that maybe I'm doing a little too much here. Let me check something real quick. Yeah, we got to do that. Sorry, but we got to do it this way, the way the schedule is. Okay, so we're reviewing test 3. Given a group, Alan, Brenda, Chad, Dorothy, Eric, or A, B, C, D, E, list and count the different ways of choosing the following offices of representatives. 3 representatives, 2 must be male and 1 must be a female. All right. Questions with that? Does anybody need to go over that? I'll do this first one just to kind of get us back into the fundamental accounting principle. All right, you've got Alan, Chad, Brenda, Eric, Dorothy, am I missing any? Alan, Brenda, Chad, Dorothy, Eric. That's 5. Okay. And we want 3 representatives. 2 must be male and 1 must be female. Okay, so we have Rep 1, Rep 2, Representative 2, and Representative 3. 2 must be male, and 1 must be a female. Or, yeah. So we can have, if we start with Alan, right? Alan, we can have Alan and Chad, and then we have to, Alan, Chad, and we have to pick either Brenda or Dorothy. So we would use Alan, Chad, Brenda, Alan, Chad, Dorothy. Okay? And then you go to Chad, and since Alan and Chad were already selected, you would choose Chad and Eric, and then Brenda, Chad, Eric, and Dorothy. And then, so that covers Alan and Chad. So Eric, so the only one Alan didn't, so we would have Eric, and the only one, Eric was not paired up with Alan, so it's Eric and Alan, and Brenda, Eric, Alan, and Dorothy. So you've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. 6 ways of selecting the 3 groups. Okay? Questions with that? All right. Okay, using 3 possibilities found in the product table from rolling 2 dice, listen and count the outcomes of which the sum is less than 4. Well, you have 2 dice, right? And they both have the dice have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 on them, right? But the number, the roll, the sum must be less than a 4. So you can have a 1 and a 2, right? Because that adds up to 3. Or a 2 and a 1. And you can have a 1 and a 1, because that only adds up to 2. But you can't go any more than that, because if you did 1 and 3, that's 4. And you need something less than 4. So anything higher than 1 and 2 or 2 and 1 is too high. So that gives you how many different ways to roll a number less than 4. How many ways is that? How many ways? You got 1 and 1, 2, 1 and 2, and 2 and 1. Okay, guys, if you're going to be on the cell phone, you're going to have to go out in the hall. Okay? Can you get off the cell phone? Excuse me. You need to take it out? Okay. So there's 3 ways. Okay? All right. Okay, construct a product table showing all the possible 2-digit numbers using digits from set 1, 2, 6, and 7. Do we need to see that? Okay, if you don't say anything, we'll move on. How about tree diagram? First dice shows a 3. So if the one shows a 3, what would the other dice be? Yeah, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. So really there's only 6 possibilities, right? Okay, 6 strangers arrive at a business seminar. Each person shakes hands with every other person. How many handshakes are there? Questions with that? Yes, no? Okay, if there's no questions, we'll move on. That's what happens. A restaurant offered salads and 2 types of dressing, 5 different toppings. How many different types of salad could be ordered? So we're using the fundamental accounting principle here, right? And yeah, number 7. Okay, do we need to see 7? You got 2 types of dressing, 5 toppings. Offer salads with 2 types of dressing, 5 types of toppings. How many different types of salads? Yeah, it's just 5 times 2. Yeah, so it's 10, right? Good. Okay. 6 factorial. Any questions with that? How to get that on the calculator? All right, and 9, that one's similar to one we just did up earlier, up here. On the previous, on the midterm. At a lumber company, shelves are sold in 3 types of wood, 3 different widths, and 6 different lengths. Any questions with that? You just multiply them together. So, number 11. This is basically the same thing. 2 types of lettuce, 3 different toppings, and 3 different dressings. Questions with that? All right. Baseball manager has 11 players. How many ways can 9 players start a lineup? We need to see that one? No. Basically, it's just a combination. Yeah, this one's permutation. Number 13, questions with that? $14, how many ways can president, vice president, secretary be chosen? Questions there? What's that? For 14? No. You have how many ways can president, vice president, secretary be chosen? With 11 members. So you got 11 members, and you got three ways of choosing 11 members, right? So with that, you have to use permutation because order matters. So you got 11 members, and you got 3 different positions. So it's going to be permutation because order matters. 11 taken 3 at a time. So on your calculator, you have to put the 11 in first, and then for the TI-83, you go to PRB. And I just hit the back arrow; it goes right to it. And 2 for permutation, and then 3, and you get 990. Okay, and that's your answer. Okay, so it's not like the fundamental accounting principle like the others, because you're working with people, right? Order matters. One person can only be in one spot at any one time. Okay. Any questions with evaluating permutations or combinations? How many ways can the letters in the word payment be arranged if the letters are taken 4 at a time? So again, it's permutation, right? So how many, if you were to use permutation, what would be the total number?
7.
Yeah, 7, right? Because there's 7 letters and they're all different. So it'd be 11, it'd be 7, permutation of 7 taken 4 at a time. Okay. Number 19, any questions with that? You got 2 dice, one red, one white. The red one shows a 3. Well, what are the others going to be? 3 and what? 3, 1, 3, 2, 3, 3, 3, 4, 3, 5, 3, 6, right? Okay. And number 20, if a single card is drawn from a standard deck, how many ways can it be an ace or a spade? So is this going to be mutually exclusive or not mutually exclusive? Well, you've got hearts, diamonds, clubs, spades, right? Ace, 2, all the way to king, and that's 13. And same thing with dice, or diamonds, king, so that's 13. And clubs, ace to king, right? And spades, ace to king. So we want to know how many ways can an ace or spade? Well, here's an ace, right? How many aces do we have? There's 4, right? And how many spades do we have? Well, each suit has how many? Each suit has 13, right? So we're talking about the number of aces plus the number of spades. But do we have anything that's counted twice? Anything counted twice? Yeah, the ace of spades, right? So you have to subtract the number of ace and spades. Well, there's 4 aces and 13 spades, but there's only 1 ace of spades, right? So that gives us a total of how many? Can we draw an ace or a spade? Well, what's 4 plus 13? 17 minus 1 is 16. So that's our answer. Okay?